Okay, sprint interval training. Sprinting is one of my weaknesses. I'm improving all the time on climbing, both indoors and outdoors. So what I'm going to do is over the next couple of months, in towards the end of September, October, I'm going to do some ZWIFT indoor workouts and specifically targeted at sprinting. So as you can see on the graphic on the left hand side, there's a predetermined workout here. I've actually set it to 105% because I wanted to be trying to set a record on my sprint. There's 8 10-second sprints, and then in between, there's 2.4 minutes at just under FTP green, and then after every other sprint, there is a more relaxed cadence at 145 watts. So on the top right, I'm using the Innsbrucking course, but the gradients don't matter in this case. I've turned ERG mode off. So on the central graphic, just under the big watts indicator, you can see the gear I'm in. So there's I've actually done a 10-minute warm up because on this predetermined workout, there's a 3-minute warm up. And for me, a 3-minute warm up isn't enough if then I'm going to put in a sprint. Well, it says 600 watts. So my record is 711 watts on any sprint for 10 seconds. Or I think they measure it in 15 seconds on Zwift. So I'm going to go for my record because I haven't tested that out. It's something I really need to do. The sprint training, interval training, high intensity, high cadence, and high heart rate, low volume, powerful sprints. Something I need to practice. So we've got, you can see on the indicator, 47 seconds, 46 seconds left, and then in Zwift, what it'll do, there'll be a barrier we go under to start, usually in fluorescent orange. You go under that, and then it'll count down the 10 seconds, and you'll finish through a white barrier, and then you'll go on to the next stage of the progression. So you can see it ahead. It's quite clear. So I need to be gearing up into probably 14th, 15th, possibly 16th gear here before I get to the orange. Now I only need to do 600 watts, but what I'm going to do for these 8 sprints is absolutely put the metal to the pedal to the metal. Let's nail it if I can. So perhaps started off a bit slowly there. The red is the indicator of my wattage. 659 I'd hit on that first 10-second sprint, which is a good start. Do you know, I did the 10-minute warm-up plus the 3 here, but I probably could have done with another 5 minutes. On the left there, moving a paint can. I've just moved the screen slightly because I was bumping into the the monitor, my laptop, as I was put my head down for the sprint, which is no good. It's quite tight in my little pain cave here, so not optimal. Dare I say it, I've probably 30 watts extra I should add on to my best sprint because of the cute little congested space I'm in. So 1 minute 52 to go. Rounding at 235 watts here, so my FTP is 255. So this isn't just a relaxed in between gearing down. I'm in 14th gear, and in most of my Zwift races, this is probably a good representation of what I would be doing on the flats with the other riders in the draft. So this in between section here is very realistic, in my opinion. It's not a break. You don't have a break here. You do when you go to 145 watts, but there's no relaxing here. You see it says reduced power there. I couldn't quite get comfortable and in a rhythm, and it's not easy just to drop 10 watts or add 10 watts. So you can see the wattage fluctuating quite considerably here. I didn't have too much control, but I guess I was averaging the 235 watts, which is the point of this. 149 beats per minute, heart rate 148, sorry, cadence just under 85, well 82 there at this stage. I'm in 14th gear. Typically, to be fair, I would be in 15th gear ordinarily on the flats in between the climbs and the sprints on the Zwift racing series. So I'm not sure why I'm not spinning 90 plus cadence there, doing that wattage. It doesn't seem to be adding up. Perhaps I should have calibrated first. Here we go. Second sprint. You can see there's an indicator telling you fast legs at the ready. It's a bit obvious that. But here we go. So 658 I think I did previously. Let's try and smash that. Up, up. 652. Shouldn't really be looking at the screen. So yes, that's probably, well, 711's my record, so what, maybe 85-90% there of what I can do, what I can achieve. So we've got a breather here. It's telling me just reduce the power, ride at 145 watts for 2.5 minutes. Heart rate is up to 160 now. I don't think my heart rate monitor was calibrated either, because you'll see later it's either the signal's broken, the Bluetooth signal, but later there's such an odd fluctuation on the heart rate. You can see here I'm nearly 200 watts. It's telling me to reduce power, but my legs are just in power mode now, and I'm in what I'd ordinarily do in the Zwift racing, at least 200 watts in between. Here we go. Heart rate dropping a little, yeah. So it gives you instructions and just keeps you concentrating. Just looking around, I don't know, I'm sat up there, I'm just taking a big breather. These sprints do take it out of you, but this is what I need to practice. This is where I'm struggling, to be fair. So 1 minute there, 1 minute until the next sprint, which will be the third sprint of 8. As I said earlier, my aim is to try and break that 711 watts for 10 seconds, and that will have been an achievement for me today. Either way, it's about 24 minutes, I think, this, with the 2-minute cool down at the end. So it's quite a lot of workouts can be between 45 and 60 minutes on Zwift, to give you an idea, even some of the sprint workouts. So this is a quick fire, high intensity workout. I think it's given 3 out of 5 stars from a Zwift perspective, so it's not the toughest sprinting challenge in the workouts, but it's certainly a workout, and that's the point. So here we go. I'm in 15th gear already here. I'm a bit more prepared here, going under the barrier, 350. More power. 436, 515, 622, 687, 711. I've actually done my record, or I've peaked at my record, not for 10 seconds. I think that's technically incorrect. I've peaked at 711, so you can see I'm improving. I'm in a good position there. 235 watts, if I remember, was quite difficult here, holding it, because I really went for that sprint, which is the aim, trying to push the boundaries of what I'm capable of. In Zwift, on a lot of the Zwift races, I'm in ZRS. What is it? I'm competing 330 to 450 ZRS. I think I'm 411. And a lot of riders, or the top podium riders, perhaps quite a few of the top 10 on a typical race with 50 riders in, will be doing 750 to 1,000 watts on the final sprint. So and bear in mind, I'm just peaking at 711 there. Some of these riders will do between 750 and 1,000 watts for a good 15 to 30 seconds, and they absolutely dominate in the sprint, and I just can't compete. I'm good on the flats, I'm building my engine for climbing, as I've talked about. But when it comes down to the sprint, I'm considerably behind the pack, and I'll often, going into a final sprint, if there's 5, 10 riders, I'll be in the 8th, 9th, 10th position in the ZRS category I'm currently in. So hence lots of sprinting practice. I'm going to be doing simultaneously some sprinting practice outdoors as well. May record some of that. Although it's 8%, by the way, on this Innsbrucking course, you don't feel the gradient. It's preset to flat effectively, even though there's an 8%, 7% gradient here. We're not feeling that. Your rider does feel the speed though. Watch this. I'll be doing no more than 230 watts again, and I was doing 9 miles an hour. But with the momentum, I'm not doing 200 watts. I'm doing double that now. Triple 34 miles an hour. So that's really irrelevant. Here we go into this 4th sprint. Come on, let's put that power down. 536, 535. I don't know. I'm looking at the screen. No, just broke 600 there. That's poor. So that's the 4th sprint. Not impressed with that. I think I got a bit complacent with the one before. At the end of the day, if I'm going to beat my peak record, I need to put everything in and not be watching the screen. Bit of an obvious tip there. So what have we got now? 145 watts. So it's a genuine break now for 2.5 minutes. Just roll around 150 watts. 4 halfway on the sprints. Finishing 12 minutes 20 seconds, top left. And you can see the power. You can see the power indicator on the bottom. Clearly, you can see the red parts going into the sprint. I need to be quicker at accelerating as well. I think starting perhaps in 14th, then going to 15th gear, then 16th, rather than being almost in a low gear going through that first orange barrier. But something for next time. Again, it's all about practicing and learning how to sprint here. One thing I've noticed when I'm sprinting outdoors, because I haven't any special ZWIFT kit, I've seen the kit whereby you put your bike on like a wobble board effectively, and it's moving left and right, which I find when I'm outdoors, the bike I'm keeping rigid and straight, but the bike I'm moving left and right to really get the power through my hips and my core. And I've got a power meter for outside, but I find it much, much easier. Whereas on ZWIFT, your bike, well, my setup is a rigid setup, so my body's actually moving. It's very awkward. It just doesn't feel natural. So I'm sure there's some extra watts that I'm gaining by sprinting outside. What have we got now? Just coming up to 10 seconds here. We can see the barrier just around the corner there, the orange barrier. 14th, 15th. You see, I haven't gone through. I've just gone through on 300. Let's see. Head down, 379, 483, 591, 628, 669, 707, 748. 748 watts. 5th sprint. That's the most I've ever peaked on a ZWIFT sprint. My bike's calibrated, so every other variable staying the same. That's the best I've ever done. Heart rate, strangely, look, you can see 161. I know that's a couple of seconds after, but it didn't seem to get to the heights. I'm averaging 180 roughly on some of the ZWIFT racing rides. Perhaps somebody tell me in the comments why my heart rate hasn't gone when I've just broke my own record there. Really pleased with that. 748 watts. It's showing I'm improving. I think my base level Fitness is getting better. I've had some really good results on Zwift Racing recently, finishing 4th, 6th. I think I did finish 12th out of 30 odd the other day, but that's in a higher category. So yeah, I'm improving there. Again, we're riding now for 2 minutes 40 seconds at 235 watts. It says relax on the bike, but yeah, that's difficult to do. When you've just gone through something like that, you're not really reading the screen. You can see the red wattage, and obviously if you're 50 watts over, you can pull that back. But it's difficult to concentrate when you're putting in so much effort. Oh, that's at least what I find. On the top left, you can see we're finishing in just under 9 minutes there, 8:43. What have we got? 3 big sprints left. So my aim was, I kind of had it in my head to do a 750, and I would have been really proud by hitting that. Yeah, 3 sprints left now, reduce power. What have we got? 45 seconds to go to the next barrier. I remember thinking after this next sprint, I really do need that breather at 145 watts for the next 2.5 minutes. It's pretty tired. All my legs were pretty tired. Cadence 81. Now that doesn't fit. That doesn't fit right with me. 14th gear for me. Doing 81 cadence, yet 244 watts just there. I don't understand that. I would usually be doing. Here we go. Let's just go on the sprint. I'll finish off with that in a minute. What can I do here? 427, 480, 540. Didn't break 600. Classically, too complacent. I'd done well on the previous one. I think I needed a break, to be honest. Yeah, don't forget to drink. No kidding. I've got the old water bottle. Down to 13th gear. Yeah, you can see how that affected me. So yeah, as I was saying, ordinarily I'd be in 15th gear, doing about 85, 90 RPM. Let's say 90 RPM, and I'd be expecting to be doing about 265, 275 watts, which would be 3.6 watts a kilo for me. So these numbers don't seem to be quite tallying up. Having said that, I'm sure they're absolutely very accurate with the wattage peak there at 748, so let's not talk any more about that. I'm going to take that as a win. Enjoy these moments of calm. Well, yeah, brilliant. 145 watts here, 1 minute 30 to go, and we've got 2 sprints left. I was a bit complacent on there, a bit disappointed I didn't even get to 600. I mean, that's poor, that. 18 minutes 12 gone. I really did enjoy this workout though, under 30 minutes, so you can fit it in. It is the weekend, but it's something you could do after work or even before work. It's not an hour and a half of sweating that takes up all your time. It's quite convenient to fit this in with you, get a work-life balance. So I think that's another reason. That's another great reason for Zwift, in my opinion. Perhaps I should do more of these workouts. I certainly will in the next month or so, and they'll be very concentrated on these sprints. I will try a sprint workout that does last an hour. However, when I looked at those, they weren't really top-end power sprints. They were more, well, in this case, they might be pushing 400, 450 watts, but more of them for higher time limits. But I guess that's increasing your VO2 and your uptake, and probably going to be increasing your performance. So I don't think any of it hurts. So here we go. Penultimate sprint. What have I got in the legs? Why am I looking there? A slip there. 480, 516, 571, 678, 735. Yeah, pleased with that. I've indicated there that got a thumbs up there, I think. What was that? Yeah, I've indicated that obviously I'm improving because that's another good effort. 1 to go. So 1 to go, and it is exactly like it says on screen there. Interestingly enough, this is exactly almost a race situation. You've got, I don't know how, what 2 minutes would be, perhaps half a mile, 3/4 of a mile. The pack starts speeding up. So I would be doing this now, 2:48, 2:41, probably more to be fair, but the pack would be braking, getting ready for the sprint. So I think this is perfect. Perhaps 10 seconds isn't long enough for the sprint, but it's good race practice. That's why I dropped it up here to 280 there, 266. I wasn't reducing power because I wanted to try and replicate what I do in the ZWIFT racing series. And when it gets down to the last mile, this is it. It's full gas and then a sprint after usually a tough course of 12 miles or so with a couple of climbs. So yeah, it's a great replication of ZWIFT racing this. So this is good practice. So I'm in the zone here, 1 minute 5 seconds left. Reduce power, no. Let's keep cracking on. 163 heart rate, 84 cadence, 14th gear, 52 seconds, 51 seconds. Here we go, I was feeling good here. So like it said, it's like, imagine you're in the pack here and you're going for your last sprint, the final 10 seconds. Good, realistic practice, less than 30 seconds now. One final sprint to finish. Yeah, it's been a fantastic workout, I've really enjoyed it. Performed well, I think. Got to be just round this corner, 11 seconds, here we go. Can I put a worldie sprint in? Let's see, just to finish this. 164 heart rate, gear 15. Oh, I wasn't ready there, it's poor prep, that, really poor. Be surprised if I do 650 here. 619, okay, yeah. Overall, really chuffed with that to get the records. Looking at the numbers afterwards, and I couldn't see it on the screen here, but you'll see in a minute, my peak power was actually 784, which is obviously an outstanding result for me. Putting 75 watts on my maximum previously, which was 711, it's over 10% increase there. So this was a fantastic ZWIFT workout, great sprint interval training. I'll just show you the figures in the minute at the end here. Just getting a breather there. Really enjoyed that. Look, coming up to 24 minutes on this 2-minute warm down here. So 784 peak, but I didn't see at any point when I did 784, unless it's just not recorded it, because I think the wattage here, if I'm right, is an average over 3 seconds. That's probably it, I'm guessing. So the actual numbers are recorded in your graph and stats are not averaged over 3 seconds. That probably explains that. Please tell me that's the case in the comments, and then I can say that 784 is my new record peak. So really pleased with that. This is something definitely you can do indoors. You keep doing programs around these ZWIFT workouts, and I'm hoping to see, perhaps in a month, 6 weeks, if I do perhaps one a week workout to one race, I'm hoping I can effectively put that in place. You can see there, top right, 784 watts. Critical power now. Just to the right, the penultimate peak there. Look, I tried to hover over it to get to it, but it clearly says 784. Really pleased with that. I'm almost smiling on the left. if you like that, like and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. Back soon. Bye bye.